Hello everyone, my name is Anita and I help people discover their power. So today I wanted to talk about a transformation process that I'm going through right now. So as I mentioned before, I had the aura healing done by Hawaii Clairvoyance Center, which was last Wednesday. So it's been a week since that session. And I can tell you that I actually felt, the whole session actually happens in silence. You just sit with eyes open so that they can feel you. You give them permission to do healing on you, and you also confirm your full name. That's basically how it is. And then the healer, who's on the other side, they don't really see you like on camera or anything like that. Apparently it would be distracting for them. And they just sense you out in the field, your energy field, and if there's anything that needs to be fixed, they will send some additional energy. And during this session, I could actually feel energy going from the sky, top down, from my head up to my whole body. And I could feel some movements of energy happening, but nothing like super spectacular. However, I could say with sureness that something was going on there. And they told me that for the next days, even maybe a few weeks, I could have some epiphanies. My body will readjust to different frequency. I may be tired sometimes, or may have a need to go for a walk in a forest or anything like that, and I should honor my body to allow it to catch up with information, because usually it's the spirit who has more information, is a little bit ahead of the body, and then you need to have some time for your body to readjust. And after a session, I actually felt like super tired. Like I became tired and super hungry at the same time, so I quickly ate something and I just went to sleep. And I guess I received a lot of energy because I could feel maybe even slightly feverish, and I was amazed how powerful it was. Anyway, fast forward, like the next day, few days later, I had like outbursts of negative emotions again. And I stepped into my old program. In a sense, I was like listening to my ego in my head saying like, oh, you screwed up, you don't have work, partner, or health, and what are you gonna do now? And my ego sometimes is very abusive to me, and I can actually now realize this and readjust. But still, I thought that, okay, this is my old personality in a sense speaking here. Maybe I need to allow these emotions to go through me. So I allowed these negative emotions just to be there, but I wasn't like trying to suppress them. I was allowing them to go through me. So there was a lot of crying and things like that. But after a few hours of feeling like that, I realized that the evening is approaching. Evening is actually one of my favorite times to meditate. And I got inspired to actually do something about it. So normally, when I feel so low, I would do just one quick meditation and go to sleep. And it's not really a bad thing to do, because sleep often restarts us, and usually the next day is much better. But in this case, I decided to not only sit with all these emotions during meditation, but also sit long enough to overcome them. Isn't it what Dr. Joe teaches us, to sit with it long enough till you overcome the emotions? So it doesn't even matter what was the cause of them. You don't even have to go to the root cause and decipher all the things that happened to you when you were a kid, which led you to feel the way you feel. Dr. Joe never teaches to analyze things like that, especially traumatic things. It's more about just overcome this emotion. And since I have a lot of time on my hands, which often is one of the factors helping people to transform by themselves at home. I decided I will just overcome it. And I played Center of the Magnet again. This one is really my favorite recently. It's almost 3 hours long, and it's basically 2 meditations wrapped in one. And basically it focuses on activating your heart, which is actually a good idea, because when you open your heart, you are much more open to receive new information and to upgrade. So there is a time in this meditation when you actually know the first part comes to an end, and usually I would just go to sleep at that point, because I would feel tired, satisfied with my efforts as well, but tired. And that was the case that day. I felt tired halfway through, and I heard that voice in my head encouraging me to just, you're tired, why don't you just go to sleep? But I was like, no, because I don't feel I overcame myself. Even though there were moments I was like in total blackness for a long time, longer than normally. I felt like I'm just so fed up trying to figure out things on my own that hasn't worked well up until now. I realized I need to surrender myself to something greater. So I decided to sit all the way through. Just sit all the way through. Do not pause. And I started this meditation at 9 p.m. and I finished it at midnight, somewhere around midnight. And by the end, like close to the end of this meditation, Joe is providing a really inspiring speech. I will not repeat it. I'm not as good speaker as him, and I don't remember exactly the words he used. But he said that if you made contact with this higher intelligence, ask it for a sign and let it come to you the way that you least expect. And at the time, I was considering to rent an office to become like officially this Access Bars practitioner and affiliate with someone who has some basis of clients already. But the rent turned out to be much more expensive than I expected. There was misunderstanding between me and the owner when it comes to the pricing. And I was prepared to take a risk. But at the same time, I wasn't sure. There was something like intuitively, I felt there's something like not right here. And I asked this field, this blackness, if I am to rent this, because initially I agreed to rent it since 1st of July. So I said to it, if I am to rent it, do not send me any other opportunities. But if I'm not to rent it, then send me an opportunity to earn money until the end of this week. And I've been also applying for jobs. So I've been busy a few days figuring things out. And I shit you not, the next day after this meditation, I felt great. I felt super positive. I felt like I was on the top of the world. So complete different feelings that I had in comparison to the last day, to the day before. And one company that I actually thought would be a good match for me reached out to me and invited me for an interview the day after I sent them my application. So it's really rare. It happens so fast. I even remember applying there, and there was this screen after I applied that, hey, thank you for your interest. We have many people interested in this position. We will reach out to you, but it may take some time, maybe even up to a month. So I laughed when I read that, and I thought, well, somehow I kind of felt they will contact me sooner, but I wasn't like 100% sure. And then just few hours actually, because I applied in the afternoon, they wrote in the morning the next day. So it wasn't even a whole day since I applied. So I think this is the sign from the field saying, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to rent this office yet. So I wrote to this lady saying that something come up and I'm still considering something else. And if I decide, then I need some time. I told her maybe by the end of July or something like that. And she wrote to me, fine, because she's leaving for vacation anyway. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. So even if I was decided, I wouldn't be able to sign agreement because the owner will be gone. So that was sign number 2 for me. It looks like I don't think so. I think I'm not supposed to earn this. I'm not supposed to rent this place. So yeah, I'm really surprised the sign came so quickly. Perhaps I'm becoming better and better at this meditating and contacting the field or what have you. And I just wanted to tell you this story. And if you are struggling, if you have hard time now, and if you do not see light in the tunnel in a sense, then know that we are always surrounded by this black field. When you close your eyes, you can see it. When you open your eyes, you cannot really perceive it, but it's still there, it's still around us. And it still listens. If you reach out to it and ask for help, ask for a sign, it will respond sooner or later. You just need to keep trying, you know? And I am convinced that it never leaves any of our states and thoughts unnoticed. And if we are ready to surrender to it, to surrender to the flow, and to allow it to work for us, instead of trying to figure things out on ourselves, it will help us eventually in one shape or form or the other, you know? So keep on grinding, keep on meditating, keep on believing, and most importantly, keep on surrendering to this unknown field, because it has your back. It really does. Even if you feel like you're completely alone, you never are alone. There's always something watching over you. Whether you believe in higher power or not, I used to be an atheist. Let's put it like that. I used to not believe in God or higher power or higher intelligence. I used to thought that we are all alone, and that's how I felt because I was creating this reality. But now I feel like we have this intelligence watching over us, and I feel this intelligence also lives within us. So I'm definitely convinced now, looking at how things are playing out and they are being put in place for me. Yeah, life really happens for me now. So it always has been happening for me. It's just a matter of noticing it and making the best out of it, I guess. So thank you very much for watching. I wasn't planning to record such a long video, but here it is. So, well, I guess I see you next time. Bye-bye.